Here are 5 things that I regret about our kitchen design. Hi, my name's Meg and we've recently done a 1940s detached bungalow, taking it from a 1-bed to a 4-bed, and in that process we had to have a brand new kitchen, and there are some things that I wish I did just a little bit differently. I feel like a few of them are like actual regrets, and then others they are just a bit pernickety, but I think it's worth the consideration for you anyway. Okay, so number 1 is the wine cooler. If you drink a lot of wine, then this might be worth it for you. But I feel like if you're a casual drinker and you don't drink that much wine, and if you drink Prosecco as well, then I feel like the wine cooler is a waste of money for your kitchen, and it could be real useful space. It could be more cupboard space, it could be anything. But the wine cooler, I feel, was the biggest waste of money and my biggest regret in the whole kitchen. So our wine cooler, it's just a single wine cooler, but we can't get bottles of Prosecco in there, they won't fit. This is an open plan kitchen diner living, and the wine cooler is somewhat loud. So when you're trying to relax, the wine cooler will come off and on and make that horrible fridge noise much louder than the actual fridge. And like I said, it doesn't fit bottles of Prosecco in the one that we've got. So whether there are others, I'm not sure, but I do think if you're not much of a wine drinker, don't put one in your kitchen, and don't think about resale, because people do go, oh, wine cooler, but honestly it's not that cool. It's a waste of money for us anyway. So I would think if you're thinking about putting a wine cooler in your kitchen, do you really need it? Would the space be better off with something else? I just wish we had spaces for bottles, because then we can keep spirits, Prosecco, wine, red wine, etc. in there as well. Okay, so my second biggest regret, and this still does annoy me every time we bring a weekly shop home, but that is the fridge space. So we've gone for a 70-30 split fridge freezer, and because it's integrated, it's very narrow, and I feel like we fill up the fridge and there's only 2 of us and the dog. So what would a family of 4 or 5 be like in that fridge? So I feel like if you're thinking about redesigning your kitchen and you've got a family, maybe think about having an integrated full fridge and an integrated full freezer perhaps, or you have one fridge and then a 50-50 split fridge freezer. It depends what works for you and your family, but I just feel like one thing this kitchen is missing a little bit is a good fridge. It's a good fridge, but it's not necessarily the right fridge, I think, for this size kitchen. It definitely could have done with 2 integrated fridge freezers standalone. And I think that would be, if we were to have a family and grow, that would be a bit of a pinch point in the kitchen eventually. We do have a spare fridge out in the garden room, so again, it's kind of not a big deal, but if I was to redo the kitchen from scratch, then I would definitely add in 2 fridges instead of 1, because I think, you would outgrow that fridge quite quickly. Okay, so I feel like they're the 2 main regrets. Like every time I go to the fridge, I think about it. Every time I see the wine cooler, I regret it. So they're like the 2 that like kind of make me think, oh, so annoying. But these ones, they're still regrets, or they're considerations for you to take when you're thinking about designing your kitchen. But the one for me was having the bins out in the main kitchen. So the pull-out bins themselves are actually on my top 6 list of what I love about the kitchen. But the one thing I would say is I do wish we popped them in the utility room, because I feel like you don't need the bins in the main kitchen area, because we've actually got the incinerator garbage disposal, so we don't need to be scraping food into the bin or anything like that. And if the bins are somewhat overflowing, it does look messy in the main part of the kitchen when we've got like cardboard boxes and stuff waiting to go out to the main bins on bin day. So again, that's kind of minor, but maybe think about how you use your space, and would you prefer your bins in your utility room? Okay, the next point is our kitchen island. I don't regret the kitchen island, I just want to say that. I absolutely love the kitchen island. But if you are designing a kitchen and you're thinking about where to put things, I would 100% have a little think about how you're going to use the space. I know it's quite difficult because you're designing something you've never actually lived in. And I think that was the problem here. So we wanted to make sure we had a large island because this room is quite big. We wanted it to be well proportioned with the rest of the kitchen because it is kitchen does run all the way back and this wall here. So we went for a nice island with waterfall quartz. And a consideration that I think you might want to have a think about when you're designing it is how you're going to sit. So I feel like this design, all the seats are just facing that way. And, you know, we don't have kids or anything like that. And I think this design might work for if you've got like 2 kids, you're cooking breakfast in the morning and they're just there in front of you. But if you're thinking about using the island more for socialising, having friends round, perhaps it would make sense to drop kind of like the end panel and have the quartz over the end, and then you can have like 2 seats there and 2 seats here, so you can have more of a conversation around the island. It does just feel a little bit antisocial when everybody's kind of just like lined up on one side of the island, and then if you're on the other side of the island you have to stand. So I think that's one thing we've noticed when we've having people round, is kind of like you kind of migrate to the sofa. You don't really want to sit at the island because it's a bit weird just everybody sitting and staring at the one person that stood up. But I think that's just a minor thing. It's not a huge regret, but I think aesthetically this looks right. But I think practically, considering we don't have children that we're kind of like feeding across the table or anything, it's kind of a waste of seating space. Okay, so my next point is the utility room. I wish we'd just designed the utility room to be a little bit bigger, more of a square shape, because what we found at the moment, the underfloor heating doesn't stretch into the utility room enough to like heat the space. So we are having to still put our clothes and our laundry out in this area, and I think if we had just designed it so that the utility came somewhat further out, we could have made the island smaller, and we could have put all the washing in there, all the laundry in there. And I also regret that we didn't get a tumble dryer when we could have easily had one. Didn't think we needed it really, but I'm fed up of having the clothes everywhere. So I would definitely think if you've got a family or if you just hate doing laundry, have a little think about the utility space. If you're not the tidiest, most organised person as well, utility is a good place to hide all your rubbish from the kitchen. Okay, my last and final point, kind of like regret, is for you guys who are dog owners or pet owners, or to be honest, even just like if you like going out on long walks. I think the utility room should have a back door to it, and then you can come straight through the utility room after a dog walk or a muddy walk, and it's kind of like turns into like a boot room where you can kind of take off all your muddy clothes. And I would definitely have a dog washing sink. We went for a Belfast sink because I thought I could wash the dog in there, but it's not practical at all, and the oak worktops get soaked, and he's just a little bit too big for the utility room sink. So I would definitely design in a dog washing station and stick a back door in the utility room if that's possible. I know obviously in a semi it might not be possible to have the utility room with a back door, but it will save you a lot of headaches and a lot of mud and a lot of cleaning up to do. As I've gone to just make myself another cup of tea, I've just remembered another regret, and that is a composite sink. So I would really consider like what benefits a composite sink would have for you. It's nice to have a white sink, but then like our Belfast sink is white, and you can still have the InSinkerator garbage disposal under a Belfast sink. So I've never had a sink that's been like, I don't understand why a sink has been designed like a composite sink to stain. It literally stains. It needs cleaning all the time, like heavy cleaning all the time. I would never buy another composite sink as long as I'm on this planet. So it kind of has just become the norm, like, oh yeah, composite sink, they're not good. And if you've got a dark composite sink, you can't even see the stains on those, whereas like we've got the white ones, so at least I know that I need to get the pink stuff out and give it a scrub, because it's stained and looking a bit dirty. So I don't know who invented them and why they invented them, but I would say carefully consider, if you've got a busy household and you just want an easy clean life, consider, do you want a composite sink, or would you be better off with like a Belfast sink or a stainless steel sink? I don't think I'd go for a stainless steel sink personally now, but I would definitely go for a Belfast sink or a butler's sink, whatever you want to call it. I hope these regrets of mine will help you in designing your next kitchen. They are obviously, for us, we are a childless couple with a dog, so things are going to be a little bit different for us than they are for you, but I hope it helps you think about different elements of the kitchen when you're designing your kitchen. And yeah, if you are interested in the cost of this kitchen, I've done a cost video, and if you're interested in my review of Wren kitchens as a whole, I've also got a Wren kitchens review video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video.